Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 130 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we have not Ixalan, we have Iconic Masters. For the next 3 weeks, we will be opening Iconic Masters packs and talking about what we would take pack one, pick one if this was a draft. After that, we'll be doing Unstable for some amount of time. Obviously, we don't want to spend forever on Unstable. It's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be super serious. What's the first pick? But we'll do at least a couple of weeks of that. But we're going to crack this open, see what's in it, and see what we would take pack one, pick one if this was a draft. I've drafted a single draft of Iconic Masters, and I'm probably not going to draft too many. So these picks, of course, are going to be super open to discussion, as I'm not intimately familiar with the set. Up first, we have Ojutai's Breath from Khan's Block, 2 and a blue for an instant. Tap target creature, doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, and rebound, so you get to cast it again during your next upkeep step. Yeah, Ojutai's Breath is fine. I'd never first pick it. I'm pretty happy to have it in most blue decks, especially if I'm being tempo-y. If you're being aggressive, this taps down blockers. If you're being, really delaying to the end of the game, this delays to the end of the game. All around decent spell, nowhere near a first pick. Also from Khan's Block, and many other blocks for that matter, is Tormenting Voice, 1 and a red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Tormenting Voice, discard a card, draw 2 cards. It's okay if you're trying to fill up your graveyard or get something in there. I had somebody in a red-white deck throw away Bloodghast in order to get Bloodghast back. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. It's a fine draw spell. It's just a spell that's nowhere near a first pick, and it's even cuttable in many decks. Up next is Sustainer of the Realm, a card I'm not super familiar with. 2 white for a 2/3 flyer. Whenever Sustainer of the Realms blocks, it gets +0/+2 until end of turn. So it's a 2/3 flyer for 4, which is okay, but not great. And it's a 2/5 blocking flyer, which is decent enough. Very mid-card feel to it, kind of something that's just filler. It feels somewhat 23rd card-ish. If you're playing flyers, it probably goes up a little bit, but it's nowhere near a first pick. And now with video, because I for some reason forgot to hit record on the camera, here are the 3 cards we just went over. Here is the cracked pack to prove I cracked it if need be. We can move on to the next card, which is Thought Scour from Dark Ascension. Single blue mana for an instant. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard, draw a card. Now in Innistrad block, you were always milling yourself. If you were milling your opponent, you were doing it very wrong. In this set, there is in fact a dedicated blue-black mill deck. It's arguably the blue-black archetype, in fact, and here you should mill your opponent. But even if you are in that mill deck, this is a very late pick. It's nowhere near a first pick ever. Up next is Ivy Elemental. Ivy Elemental is X green for a creature elemental. It's a 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. This is an okay payoff for the red-green X spells deck. There's all kinds of ways to increase your mana and ramp and get extra mana for X spells, but this not having any sort of evasion or protection or anything makes it a very big problem. I had Channel in my F&M draft, and I thought about playing this, channeling into this, but there's so much removal that would just kill this, and then I'd be at a really low life total that I didn't play it. It's a fine enough payoff. I'd play a few of them in the red-green X spell deck. I just wouldn't go too deep on this as the payoff. There's a lot better things, like Fireball, for example. Dead Reveler is up next from the Rakdos Guild in the Return to Ravnica block. 2 and a black for a creature zombie. It's a 2/3 with Unleash, so you can put a counter on it when it comes into play, and if it has a counter on it, it cannot block. It's a fine aggressive card if you are playing an aggressive deck. This is a total curve filler. It's totally fine, but it is very middle of the pack. So we're not yet on a first pick card, and Timberland Guide's not going to get there either. 1 and a green for a creature human scout. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you put a counter on something, some other creature. Or sorry, not some other creature, some creature. So this is a 1/1 for 2, or it's a 2/2 for 2 if you just put the counter on it. It's fine. I'm okay playing this. Obviously, the green-white counters deck super is happy with it, but it's just not a high pick even in that deck. Again, middle of the pack, not first pickable. Up next is a card that I might actually first pick just simply to, I guess, stay open, and that is Mannequin. Mannequin is 2 generic mana for an artifact creature construct. It's a 1/1. Tap it to add colorless to your mana pool. Ramp is great in this format. Getting past 3 into 4 is a really good place to be, and Mannequin does that. I'd prefer if my my mana rock was actually a rock and was harder to kill than a little 1/1, but Mannequin is fine. I played it last night in my F&M tournament, and it worked out fine. I would consider first picking it if the pack doesn't get any better. Up next is Battle Rattle Shaman. Battle Rattle Shaman is 3 and a red for a creature goblin shaman. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may have target creature get +2/+0 until end of turn. This is Anointed Deacon in goblin form. It can hit any creature, which is great. It doesn't just target goblins or anything like that. This is solid in an aggressive deck. Just having this on turn 4 and then attacking in with, say, your 3/3 that was your 3-drop and having it be a 5/3 is really, really good. Battle Rattle Shamans, I'm always happy to see. I'm always happy to play in aggressive red X decks, but it's not a first pick ever. Our final common is Dragon Bell Monk. Dragon Bell Monk is 2 and a white for a creature human monk. It's 2/2 with vigilance and prowess. Super not iconic at all in any way, shape, or form. It's fine. You'll play it in a white deck, but it's very, 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 very mid-pack, very late pick. Our first uncommon used to be a rare, Sanguine Bond. Sanguine Bond is 3 black for an enchantment at uncommon. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. There is a black-white life gain deck, and this would be a good role player in it, especially if you get multiples of them. Since it's not rare, you can actually reasonably think you might actually pull that off. I don't know if it actually works that well in the life gain deck. I feel like if you are gaining a whole bunch of life, you're probably winning anyways. This feels a little bit win more, but I'm not sure. I'd have to see how it goes. I don't think I would first pick it, though. Up next is Prodigal Pyromancer, a color-shifted version of Prodigal Sorcerer. Prodigal Sorcerer? Yeah, Prodigal Sorcerer. 2 and a red for a creature human wizard. It's a 1/1, tap it to deal 1 damage to a creature or a player. I would always first pick a Prodigal Pyromancer or a Prodigal Sorcerer. Being able to kill a mannequin or just give inevitability by pinging my opponent forever is a really, really solid play. So I'd be happy to first pick that. I'd also be happy to first pick a Doomblade. 1 and a black for an instant, destroy target non-black creature. This is the removal that we used to have before, you know, kind of modern draft set ideas of removal. 2 mana, instant speed, kill almost anything unless it's black, which if you're playing a draft in pod, you're one of the black players. There's probably 1 other black player at the table, maybe 2. And so this does just basically kill anything at instant speed for 2 mana. Super good, solid first pick. Our foil, we'll leave the rare for a second, because every pack has a foil in it, is Crowned Ceratok. 3 and a green for a 4/3 trample. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Obviously goes in the green-white counters deck, but is not a card you pick to go into that deck. It's not a card that you desperately require for that deck. It's just fine filler, so not in the equation. And our rare is Graven Cairns. Graven Cairns is a land, add colorless to your mana pool, or pay a red or a black and tap it. Add black, red, or red to your mana pool. So you get to turn 1 mana into 2 mana of any Rakdos variation. Solid land, it's definitely a consideration in the first pick because it is a really, really good filter land. But I would probably not pick it too highly. It's only worth, like, I think maybe $4 or $5. So not super sold on Graven Cairns being a first pick in this format. I'm really just on Doomblade, I think. It's just that good. It was always a first pick in almost every set it's been in, and I think it's a first pick in this set too. So I'm on Doomblade. Let me know what you would be picking here. Would it be the Pyromancer, the Mannequin? Would you take the Graven Cairns? Or did I totally miss something? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeak. That's LEEK, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeak, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeak, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeak. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.